So we've just hit the top of the hour. It looks like we still have very few participants on Meet Echo, so I'm going to leave it a few more minutes and see if we get some more participants. I'm very glad to see that Meet Echo appears to be fully internationalized. Okay, well, we're 5 minutes in. Let me give you a nice little video here. Hi. I want to start with a quick, the names in the Meet Echo role look mostly familiar. So I just want to do a quick thing of a show of hands if this is your first IETF hackathon. So I'm going to do a show of hands tool in Meet Echo. Let's try that. And this will go a little bit. And so either raise your hand or not. So it looks like we have one person so far, two people for whom this is their first hackathon. Okay, good enough. I'll end that, and I'll go back to where I can see the slides and my face. There we go. So hi, I'm Barry Liba. Normally Charles Eckel would be up here doing this, but he is busy with MEF right now this week. So I'm filling in. And here, welcome to the IETF hackathon at IETF111. Most of you have seen essentially these slides before. Stop me if you have any questions. Just raise your hand to get in the queue, and let's move ahead. So welcome. This is what a hackathon looks like when it's not on Meet Echo. I was about to say on Zoom or WebEx or whatever, but Meet Echo. I miss it. I miss all of you guys, and I hope that we can meet again soon in person. But for now, we'll do the hackathon online. The gather room is where we gather and where we hack. The password for the gather room is note well, and the URL for entering gather should be in the agenda. You can wander around the tables and set yourself up at a table and gather and hack. Not everything was set up when we last checked the other day, so I think everything should be ready now. Do let us know if there's a problem with the gather room. So why are we here? What is the hackathon? The purpose of the hackathon is to advance the pace and relevance of IETF standards. We want to get people to start implementing things that are in the standards, implementing things that are proposed to be put into the standards, connect the standardization process with the open source community, and bring the speed and collaborative spirit into the IETF process. The idea is to make sure that the ideas we have for things to implement are working, get information about how well they work in practice and feed that back into the working group, and in general, improve both the process of developing the standards and the standards themselves. So there you go. We are hoping to attract developers into the IETF, new people who haven't been to the IETF before. As you all probably know, the hackathon is you are not required to be an IETF participant. You do not have to be registered for the IETF meeting to participate in the hackathon, but most of you are, and we hope to draw new people in, get some new skills that we're lacking, and match people up with between the new people and the IETF veterans. We generally get good university engagement around the hackathon, so that's very pleasing. This is the note well. Note it well, please. It basically tells you what your responsibilities are by participating in IETF functions. If you have any questions about this, the best thing to do is to ask your company lawyer, but many of you may not have such, so you can always ask me or any of the other old timers, and we can tell you all about what this means. But varying from that, the code contribution guidelines are not covered by the note, or are not explained by the note well. Here's what we can tell you about the code contribution in the hackathon. Participants in the hackathon can work on any code, and rules regarding the code are that participant's organization and the code's license rules. You are not making an IETF contribution in terms of the note well by working on code. So you are not giving your code to the IETF. You are not necessarily making your code public domain by participating here. However, discussions, presentations, and demos in the hackathon are IETF contributions in the note well sense. And so in that context, working in the hackathon is like working in a working group, and the usual copyright and IPR disclosure rules apply. So you're not giving away your code, but you are expected to make IPR disclosures if they are relevant, according to the note well. Here's a new slide. We are making a big push in the IETF for inclusive language. Contributions to the IETF, including internet drafts and RFCs, are best when the terminology they use is clear and precise and widely accessible to readers from varying backgrounds and cultures. So this statement says the IESG hence encourages IETF participants to use the guidance that NIST has provided when making contributions to the IETF. Although that guidance was developed for use within the US National Institute of Standards and Technology, the IETF community expressed strong support for the sentiment that the guidance on inclusive language in that document is suitable for the IETF as well. Using the same terminology as other standards organizations and industry initiatives also contributes to overall coherence in the industry. To be clear, this is not saying anything that you have to do and banning certain words. It's saying, please think about the words that you use and try to be clear and inclusive. Okay. A list of projects that people have signed up to work on are in the Hackathon Wiki. And if you download the slides, these links are clickable, so you can get to the Hackathon Wiki from there. If you're not sure what project to join, have a look at these, see what interests you, ask around, visit tables and see what people are working on. Plan your week. I don't really know why Charles put a check the lost and found on this slide, so I don't know what to say about that, but there is a lost and found, so click on it and it's probably quite amusing. Okay, the agenda for the week. We're going to have a fairly short opening session right now, which we're in the middle of. That's the kickoff. And right after that, you're going to start hacking. And at the end of the week, Friday afternoon, my time, Friday noon Pacific time, which is the time zone for the meeting because it would have been in San Francisco. We will have a wrap up, and at that time we're asking teams who have gotten some work done that they want to present to put a presentation into the GitHub repository and make a presentation about a brief presentation about your work. It's optional. It helps to share what we're doing, and we found it to be very useful and interesting to everyone. So there's the GatherTown URL. The screenshot is from IETF 110, so while we're expecting the 111 gather space to look similar, it might not look exactly like that, but it behaves the same, and it should be familiar to anyone who participated a few months ago. So there's the hackathon space. Each of the tables will be a different project. Each table comes with CodeMD and whiteboards for sharing documents and sharing scratchings and communicating among the team. The NOT team experiment allows you to join the IETF network while you're attending remotely. Version 2, which is operating here, is a complete rebuild of the network. It has auto-provisioning of credentials and device configuration. MikroTik is the only hardware that's supported. More device types will be added over time. And the legacy Pi network is still active, but will not have future development or support. So we need to move over to the HackNet that we have now. So anyone needing a dedicated network for their work can use this. I'm going to quickly check the chat and see where we are. Okay. So on Friday for the project presentations, what are we looking for? We're looking for a brief presentation, maximum of 5 minutes. You don't have to use the whole 5 minutes. Just briefly saying what problem you came here trying to solve, what you achieved, did you solve it? Did you fail to solve it? That's also useful. What happened during the hackathon week, and what did you accomplish and where did you go? So we want to see lessons learned. We want to see whatever feedback you have that's going back to the working group, to a relevant working group, and what is going into open source and other SDOs, how we connect everything back and forth. Again, brief presentation, 5 minutes max, and please do it. It's optional, but it does help. This is small for me. Okay, this is the hackathon page. The hackathon Git repository. So this is where you put your presentations. There's the link for it. This is where you put your presentations when you have them ready. We don't have a template for it. You can grab something that works for you. And post it to this. Any of the presentations that are there will be available for us to present on Friday. So here's an example one that you can use to start the IETF111 project presentations. If you need access, if you have not done this before and you need access to the Git repository, let me know. Post to the hackathon list and let us know what you need, and we will make sure you have authorization to post your presentation to it. Here's the instructions. And that's all. And the other thing I will say is the hackathon is sponsored by ICANN. So we get financial support from ICANN to help us do this. And I believe that's the end of the slides. That was quicker than usual, I'm sure. Charles tends to spend more time talking about things. He's more experienced at kicking this off than I am. Does anybody have any questions? Let me shift back to the participant list and watch for, Charles has arrived. So Charles, do you have anything you'd like to add while you're here?
No, I actually just joined about 30 seconds ago, so I assume things were covered. Yeah, I don't have anything to add. Great that folks who are on this call are here and to get things kicked off. Thanks a lot, Barry.
Okay. Yeah, we have a very small group of people in the kickoff. I expect a much larger group for the hackathon overall.
Yeah, and I think one thing I know there was a bit of a struggle with the Gather space, getting that set up. I don't know if that's actually, I haven't been able to check and see if that's all working. I know you went through, you had some slides there, Barry, about that, that I assume you went through. Last I checked, the new gather space wasn't. Has anyone tried the gather space today or in the last like hour or two?
Yeah, I didn't try it today, so I don't know. But when I last checked, it wasn't working. So, but I imagine it's supposed to be working today. So,
yeah, I'm just checking. I mean, it was working. It just wasn't set up as we typically have.
right. Well, that's what I mean.
With
Yeah.
all of the spaces, but in the event that is the case, that Gather should be there. If there is not a space for the hackathon, basically you can just assume that you can use any space. You know, you can go anywhere. There are a couple meeting rooms. You could pop into there if they're unoccupied. You could take those. You could just, you know, decide to meet in a certain portion of the main IETF space. But that's something that's being worked on as we speak, and
Yep.
we can announce something to the hackathon list when there's changes in that situation.
Yep. Lawrence, you want to say something?
Yeah. This is Lawrence Lundblade. This is the first time I've done an online hackathon and the first time I'm trying to lead a project. And I guess what I should do is go claim a table for my project. Is that
Yes.
in Gather?
Yes.
So I should, okay, so I'll go figure out how to do that. When I tried it this morning, it seemed like it was working. So
Okay, good.
I could walk around and I saw people I knew.
Well, the question is whether the dedicated hackathon space was set up correctly. But as Charles said, if it is not, if you wander around and you can't find the specific hackathon space, you can just set yourself up anywhere.
Okay. Thank you.
Another thing you can do is once you do decide where and how you're going to meet, you can just add that in the team schedule so that other people, you know, have an easy time finding you.
Oh, Charles, one thing I tripped on in the presentation was the item about the check the lost and found. Was there some nice amusing thing that I was supposed to say about that?
No, well, so the lost and found, the idea there is kind of for it to work both ways, that if you're leading a project and say there's a certain skill set or where you really could use some help from folks, you can advertise, hey, we're looking for someone who's good at doing a specific task, or who understands a certain RFC, or can bring some skill set to your team. Similarly, if you haven't found a team, but let's say you're a great Java programmer or a Python programmer, or you work in a certain working group and you understand a domain space really well, you're a security expert, or you're a UI developer, whatever it is, whatever talent you were hoping to be able to share with teams, you can let them know. So you can add yourself into the lost and found. There's two sections there. One is, people who are looking to get added to a team, and the other is for people who are leading a team and are looking for folks. So it is kind of a little fun thing, play on words with the lost and found, but that's to help, teams find each other. And especially in a remote hackathon where it's, it's not as easy to just go around and go to the physical tables and see what's going on.
And I'm glad I asked you. I completely didn't explain that.
Yeah. Okay, great.
All right. Is there anything else anyone needs to talk about here, or should we just let you all go off and start hacking? All right, so remember to post your presentations by Friday. And if you need access or if you have any issues, post to the hackathon list and we'll try to help you out. Start your engine.
Great. Yeah, thanks everyone. And thanks, Barry, for running this.
Sure.
All right, well, bye-bye.